3 days ago, we just brought an agent, and when he left the other company, when he was talking to the other company, let them know, hey, I'm going to change to PAK. One of the leaders over there told him, like, hey, are they gonna teach you how to write a contract? Have they already taught you how to do the buy a broker agreement and all that? So he came to me and said, like, hey, do you guys even show any of this? It's like, first of all, let me teach you how to get a lead, and then I can help you write the contract.
Yeah.
That is the less of my worries.
Yeah.
Let me get you a lead, and that's just what you touch base with right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mindset and Wealth. Your host here, Jose Cereceres, and with me today, I'm very excited to introduce one of my best friends. He's a powerhouse in the real estate business and also one of the best influence in PAK Home Realty when it comes to training over the agents. My good friend Jose. Jose, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to do this. I know that we talked about it, and now we're actually doing it. So this is awesome.
Cool. So let me start with this. I know that you have a big journey coming into where you are today. How has it been your mindset to get to where you are today? What does that look like?
So I think the biggest thing to understand is that hold on. I guess are we talking about the community that we're at with PAK Home Realty, or just like in general?
So we were going to be talking about the community, of course, right? But I also want to talk about your mindset, because now you're a big piece of this community. You're a big influence with the agents. You help them train, you help them develop. But that had to start with your mindset and how you got to that point, right?
Perfect.
To be able to get to that.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say the biggest mindset shift for me was, I had been in the real estate industry, around entrepreneurship for a very long time. And it got to a point where, you're doing everything that you are taught to do as far as within our culture, which is work your butt off, work hard, and, grind. And, that'll make you successful, which
Sure.
There's an aspect to that. There's a piece of that. And I think there's a season for it. And, when I was in the business for, 6-7 years, and still didn't get to a point where, so sorry, hold on. Okay. I said 6-7 and my son goes over there and starts doing this. Okay. Been in the industry for that long. And then all of a sudden we get to a point where I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in this anymore. I am working 7 days a week. I'm 75 pounds overweight. I'm not seeing my kids. I'm not seeing my wife. I'm drinking every weekend. I'm smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. This is supposed to be success. And, the money's good. You think the money's good. And then, even then, like understanding if I were to get out of my own way, the money's better and the lifestyle's better. And so what ended up happening is I ended up looking for help. I was closing, there was a point where I was like around 30 to a little bit over 30 deals a year.
Gotcha.
And at that point I looked for coaching, and I tried a bunch of different coaching platforms. Okay. And this is the part where I'm saying the mindset had a shift where I had to start investing in myself. And this is where coaching and mentorship was a big deal for me. And so I get to a point where now I'm closing a little bit over 40 transactions per year, and I want to get out of the business. Like, this isn't working. Like, I don't have any time for me, my wife, nothing, and so forth. And so the biggest mindset shift for me was I needed to start investing in learning what I just don't know.
Gotcha. And that's when you start looking for the coach,
yes.
Right?
Yep. And then shortly after is when I found, basically the original piece of what this community is now.
Okay. Gotcha. So if an agent were to ask you about PAK, right? And it's like, hey, so what is PAK? What is PAK all about? What would be the description you will give for that?
It depends. You got to meet people where they're at. But I feel like the most transparent answer that I can give somebody would be that it is a transformational company disguised as a real estate brokerage. I truly feel that because from the top down, you'll hear it a bunch of times, which is, we are our business is a reflection of who we are.
Gotcha.
And so we work harder on ourselves than we do on our business, and the results show up. And so if somebody were to ask me, that's exactly what I would say. We're a transformational company that is disguised as a real estate brokerage. You could literally just look at it on the calendar, right? Like Gratitude Mondays, Health and Being Tuesdays, book of the month. We've got our exercise check-in channels, right? You incorporate that with a brokerage that's production and coaching based. I mean, that's just what we are.
And I know you probably answered this question, but I'm just going to ask it again. I know you used to be with Keller Williams for many years, and then now you're with PAK. So what is the difference between other brokerages that you've probably seen or experienced compared to our brokerage that we are now?
Yeah. I would say, look, full disclosure and disclaimer here is that I'm not the type of person to say like, oh, you have to be here to be successful. No, that's ridiculous. Like there's agents that are going to be successful in all brokerages, right?
Of course.
And honestly, like every model works for what it is for their agents and so forth. And I think the biggest thing is you just have to be in alignment. So depending on what company you're with, you just want to make sure that you're in an environment that's going to be conducive to your goals. So, if Keller Williams is the best fit for you, then that's the best fit for you. If Remax is the best fit for you, then so be it, right? And what I think we have here at PAK is that we have that niche culture of like the moment you immerse yourself, within our environment, there's no second questioning whether you should or shouldn't be at this company. We had an amazing day 2 from the event that we just had where I remember Shant just saying like our energy is so protected that when somebody comes in, they either are all in or they self-select out. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
it
it's
does
just like,
make sense. Yeah.
So
Totally.
I truly feel like that's a huge component as to, again, when you talk about the differences, I think it's really like, are you in alignment or not? Now we could talk about the logistical differences, which is, obviously some of the reasons that I moved over as well. For me personally, I was in a position of leadership. We could talk about fees and caps and the whole thing, but realistically it was, can I build something for me instead of for somebody else? That's really what it came down to. And so this brokerage provides me the space to be able to build an organization for myself, not just for, the ownership group or the brokerage or whatever the case is. It actually allows me to step into my leadership and be able to build my own organization.
Gotcha. So now you touch a little bit about community, and sometimes as an agent, you feel like you're solo, and a lot of the times that's how a lot of agents feel out there, like, hey, they're solo agents. Yep. However, here, how do you think, or how do you feel like PAK is building a community with the agents that is actually helping them grow in that sense?
Yeah. So I would say, well, one of the first things that I would say is that, you go to any brokerage and everybody's got the best training, the best culture, the best community. Everybody's got it, right? So that's what you're going to hear every single time. And again, it's whether or not you're in alignment with that culture, that community, right, and so forth, right? Now, what I think that, what I know that we are doing completely different than anything out there. I mean, I just haven't seen it, is that we really are working on the person before the business.
Gotcha.
And I think that is why you see all of the immediate results. Like, well, Jose, I'm here to close deals, and I've had my license for 2 years and I haven't had any luck. And something magical happens when they enter the company, and within 2-3 months they've got 4 or 5 deals under contract. And it's like, well, what happened?
Whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like, we can say all day long, like, it's like, well, it's the training, it's the this, and all of a sudden, really, like in 2-3 months, you learned so much that all of a sudden you're like a top producer. It's, what did we do with removing the fear? How did we work on their confidence and conviction? Did they feel supported enough to be able to go out there, have conversations with people and say, I got so much backup and so much support that I know that I'm going to be able to close this transaction. I know that I'm going to be the best agent for this buyer, for this seller. When you can come across with that type of confidence and conviction because of the team and support that you have behind you, there's no limits. And so you're able to do that within 2-3 months of being within the company, right? Like a 60 to 90 day cycle. And I don't think you see that in most companies. Like I remember a mentor of mine, going up in front of the training room and saying, our job isn't necessarily to teach everybody the stuff. The stuff is available everywhere. Most agents, most people, entrepreneurs, most sales positions, what you're supposed to do. Got to make the calls.
I was going to say that, a lot of the times they're like, oh, I know I should have done this, or I know I heard this before, but they have a difficult time implementing those things, and that's probably like the fear you were talking about, or their own beliefs, or.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not, I've had so many conversations. It's like, hey, so how many calls did you make? Well, and how many people have you talked to this week? It's like, so sometimes it's just like you're not doing the activity. So what is that? We can say it's like, oh, well, they're not serious about their business. They're not, okay, cool. Well, those are the symptoms. What's the root cause? Right? It's like the phrase, you've heard me say this before, and I forgot where I picked this up from, but if you had to make $1 million in the next 12 months, what's the likelihood of you making that happen? And you'll have people raising their hands and say, 1%, 2%, 0%, whatever. And then be like, okay, well, what if somebody next to you passed away if you didn't make those $1 million? Somebody very close to you. What's the likelihood of you making $1 million in the next 12 months? 100%, 1,000%, like I'm going to make it happen. I'll find a way. So what changed? Was it the goal? Was it the time frame? It was the reason.
The reason.
It was the purpose. It was the why. All of a sudden it matters, right? And so why aren't you doing the activities? It's because it just doesn't matter to you as much, right? And so you have to make sure that your goals are more important than the fear, right? And so our job in front of a training room, again, isn't to, teach you all the stuff. Don't get me wrong. You're gonna learn the stuff. We're gonna teach you the stuff, right? That's part of it. But I think the most important aspect of it is that we're trying to remove the fear from taking the action that's needed to get the results that you want.
Gotcha. I think you're right. And, so funny that a lot of the times I meet with a lot of agents that they don't have a strong why, or they don't even have one, or they don't even know what they're doing. They just go at it. And a lot of and maybe this is just me. Some of them say, well, the money, or things that are not very tangible, in my opinion, where like they're not really diving into as to why they do what they do. And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once you dial in on your purpose, it's just gonna show up. It's the way you show up in life, right? And I know you and I were talking about this last night, but being able to be part of something. This is where the community comes into play. Being able to be part of something where it's constantly reminding you that you're here for a reason. There's a purpose. There's a reason why you get up every morning, right? So we're human beings. Some days we're going to get up and, wrong side of the bed. Don't talk to me till I've had my coffee, right? The whole works, right? We're human beings. Yeah, there you go. So you got to do the ebb and flow with life. And so, I had a great mentor of mine. His name is Justin Juarez. And I just remember him saying that when you are up here, the community needs you. And when you're down here, you need the community.
Oh, that's powerful.
And so regardless, you got to plug in, right? It doesn't matter if, oh, no, I'm good. I don't need. It's not about need. Okay. It's about, are you or are you not a part of this community, right? They're like, oh, no, I'm feeling down. I don't want to plug in. Like, I'm just not motivated to, like, you need the community. You need those reminders that business is happening, that people are having wins, right? How do we start off all of our calls, right? Like wins and victories.
Victories, yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's so powerful what you said earlier about like the, you never know when you being there, even though you don't need it at that time, you're strong at that point, but you being there could be meaning that you're there for someone else that needed you to be there, right?
Yeah.
So I never heard that, but that was super powerful.
Yeah, because you've gone through this before, right? Like you'll share a victory and then all of a sudden you get somebody messaging you and be like, thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't know blank or blank, whatever. XYZ, thank you. You helped me so much with this. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, let me ask another question. Going more into the technological and things like that about the company. So, what systems and what programs that we have for some agents? They're maybe curious about coming to us or just questions about that. What type of systems? What kind of stuff that we have?
So I think this is a really, really great point. I was actually just talking to Haley about this a couple days ago. So there's this like thing that goes around with different companies where it says like, okay, we're building the best technology and it's proprietary to that company. And it's hard for me to believe and think and say that like, well, you're telling me off of these limited resources, you're the one building the best platform or the best plugin, the best add-on or whatever. And I've never been a fan of that, right? So okay. I've never, it's like a way of like handcuffing your business to a brand, okay? So I want to start off with that. I've never been a big fan. You should be able to be as nimble as possible and be where it makes sense for you and your family. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I want to start off with that because there's so many companies out there that have their own proprietary systems that you got to use this, you got to plug in, you got to do this. And then if in the future something like changes, then you're stuck. You got to rebuild, right? So that's number one. And I encourage real estate agents who are part of those companies and using those platforms to really like understand what's going on there, because the reality is that those are not the best. They're not the industry leading, CRMs and email marketing systems and so forth, right? So I want to start there. What we offer is corporate partnerships with some of the top industry leading CRMs, design studios and so forth. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just partnering up with what's out there and what's the best so that our agents have access to that through our tech stack, right? And so to answer your question is, we've got systems like Lofty. We've got systems like Bold Trail. We have an entire design studio. We have a university on wheels is what I like to call it, right? We call it PAK University, but essentially you can tap in and listen to a top producing agent's listing presentation. You can go to your state's platform to look at contracts classes. There will never be an excuse as to why you don't know something that you need to know for your business. Right? Hey, I've got a buyer consultation. What should I bring with me? There's literally an entire 2-3 videos. Here's the scripts that you need, right? Or the questionnaire, for example, right? This is what you need to fill out. So it makes everything very easy and step-by-step with the tech stack that we have.
Great. Now, you have helped a lot of agents succeed, a lot of agents grow. You had helped me tremendously as well. So thank you for that, by the way. So in your opinion, what type of leadership or mentorships we have here that has helped other agents grow and succeed, that a lot of people can look at that and say, look, I can benefit from that. I can benefit from this.
I love that. So I would say one of the biggest complaints that I get from agents joining our company is, and especially because we talk to a lot of high producing agents, we're having a lot of leaders that are actually joining our company. And I would say that the biggest complaint that we get is like, oh, well, I was with this company or whatever, and it's really just like new agent training,
yeah.
Right? It's like, well, they're teaching you how to like pull up relevant properties or, how to write a contract. And it's like, I've been in this business for, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Like, that's not the training I need. I've been stuck at 20 deals for the last decade. The most I've ever closed is, 30 transactions. How do I get to that next level? Or nobody's ever taught me how to hire an assistant, how to, what does it look like to even have a buyer's agent and be able to have like a job duties list and build out an organizational chart. And what does that look like, right? Like, hey, I've never set up a budget. Like, you really don't even have your real estate, finances structured, right? So that's not common in our industry. You can't go to most brokerages and say, hey, can you give me a class on, hiring or structuring finances or any of that stuff. So I think,
And worse yet, I think a lot of the times when you find an agent in those brokerages, they're doing it, you will go ask them and they're not even willing to, oh, no, I don't know. You figure it out on your own.
yeah, they don't want to share.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even the agents that are doing it in different brokerages, they're not sharing, right? And so, to answer your question, I feel like, well, what we're doing in order to help our agents grow, and the biggest thing as far as like the development and training aspect of it, is that we are taking you through the journey. So we provide everything that an agent, from like, if you just started, or if you're averaging 0 to 2, 3 deals a year and you want to be a capper, because that's the first goal that we want you to, strive for, right? Is let's get you to being a capper. Let's celebrate that victory and that win. Right. And then after that, okay, cool. Well, what would it take for you to be in a position where you can make, 200,000 or whatever, right? And let's get you there. And then obviously our community is very into our staple, which is dirty 30. Get to 30 transactions, whatever it looks like. That's why it's called dirty 30, right? Does that mean working evenings? That means working weekends? That means, yeah, because once you get to 30 deals, that's when you should be able to start leveraging yourself. Let's look for an assistant. Let's look for a showing coordinator. Let's look for, a buyer's agent, right? That's when you start leveraging yourself and you start buying back your time in order for you to actually produce more, right? It doesn't take more work to make more money. And we have plenty of examples to show that.
Okay. Now, in regards to training, look, there's a lot of training out there, a lot of information and stuff like that. But in your opinion, what type of trainings you think it will be very beneficial for an agent here at PAK?
I feel like that's a little bit broad. I would say that the biggest thing to understand is that if you're in a training room, it needs to be production based. This is what I can't stand, and I have a very big gripe with the industry, which is this. We go to seminars, we go to trainings, and we're learning all this stuff. For example, let's just use this as an example. Let's say I want to learn a little bit more on how to do probate deals. Example. Well, great. I can sign up for a class with an attorney and I can learn all about the probate process. I could be an expert, right? I can know the step-by-step, the structure, what documents I need, the whole thing. I leave, I'm excited, I'm motivated. How do I get probate leads? Right? How do I even get a lead to work? Mm-hmm. It's like these agents that it's like I know the contract forward and backward, and there's nobody that can write a better contract than I can. You got nobody to write it for. You got nobody to practice it on, right? And so I think that the most important thing is to have it be production-based trainings. And production-based trainings to me is for example, we do have a probate course in PAK University. It's an entire course. Oh, and it's from someone who actually does probate transactions from, in their business. So it's not just the legalities of it. It's not just the contract. It's not just that. It's hey, this is what you say when you talk to the secretary in order for you to have a better chance at getting an appointment with the attorney. Once the appointment is set, this is what you bring with you. This is how you present yourself as a professional. These are the templates that you're going to need for when they do send you leads. This is how you cultivate the relationship with that attorney. Does that make sense? So it's
totally.
It's
step by step of how to actually...
And it's actually lead generation. Do you see how everything that I just mentioned has nothing to do with the probate process? It has to do with the relationship in order for you to be able to work probate transactions. And that's just one example. We can go into expireds, for sale by owners, networking events, database, client appreciation, however it is that you lead, open houses, for example. We were just talking about this yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. So open houses has its own methodology for it to actually work. But everybody in the industry is open houses don't work. Cool, keep telling yourself that, but there's people that are absolutely killing it with open houses, but they have to be done the right way. Last night, we were talking about, I know Denise just had her first homebuyer seminar from the process that we went over in one of the trainings. And the biggest takeaway was I was with her, right? I used to also think that these were a waste of time.
She just did it in a way
just to do it, right?
To do it, but then she's like, oh, shoot.
If you do it the right way, it works. So, first one out of the way, which we missed an opportunity on one of the portions of it, which could have resulted probably in another like 4 to 5 pieces of business. But even in the initial one, she was able to get 5 applications in one day, in 3 hours. Talk about like, do we want to do one-on-one conversations or do we want to do one-to-many? And that's another conversation that we can have when you're stepping into your leadership.
Cool. Like 3 days ago, we just brought an agent. And when he left the other company, when he was talking to the other company, let them know, hey, I'm going to change to PAK. One of the leaders over there told him like, hey, are they going to teach you how to write a contract? Have they already taught you how to do the buy a broker agreement and all that? So he came to me and said like, hey, do you guys even show any of this? It's like, first of all, let me teach you how to get a lead, and then I can help you write the contract. That is the less of my worries. Let me get you a lead, and that's just what you touch base with right now.
It is so true. So they're so, and again, you don't know what you don't know, right? So a lot of the times it's like, well, that's the most important thing that I need to learn. Look, if somebody trusts you enough to have you help them with one of the most important financial decisions of their life, trust me, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure out how to write that contract, and you have the mentorship and support so that you do it the right way. Okay, but let's make sure that you know how to sell, that you know how to get leads, that you know how to have people trust you enough to be able to do that you actually care about the individual because that energy is picked up by them.
Yeah. He's been in the industry for like 1.5 years, and he has not write a contract at all anywhere. And when he was leaving, that's what they were touching bases on, like to write a contract. How they teach you how to write a contract.
It's like you've been in it for 1.5 years and you still can't write a contract. That's another thing.
Yeah, but they were focusing on that instead of helping him how to create like a lead, or how to generate a lead, and how to be able to be successful in that sense.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
100%.
So now, obviously, this is a mindset podcast. So in that,
so wait, this isn't about real estate.
Not fully.
Can be?
It can be. It's a little bit of both, right? Obviously, I love real estate. Denise loves real estate, and we have been very successful. And that's the other part where mindset and wealth. So the wealth comes from that section.
Yeah.
However, I wanted to ask you in regards to PAK, and talking about mindset. How is this company helping agents, change their mindset, not just about closing deals, but also changing their mindset, their livelihood, and everything else?
Okay. There is I'm going to butcher this quote. There is a quote that says that the mind is a great servant, but a terrible master. Something like that. Yeah. And my take from that, because I feel like our minds are very easily influenced, right? We can say that the commercial on TV isn't getting to us, that the music that we listen to in our car isn't getting to us. And the reality is that it is, because we are very easily influenced, whether it's the circle of people you're around, whether it's the information that you're getting from the news, music, TV, whatever the case is, right? And so if we know that we are easily influenced, that we are being brainwashed by everything that we consume around us, then wouldn't it make sense to have some intentionality behind that?
Of course.
And I know, like, it sounds a little funny when you say brainwash, or you're being brainwashed. So, the reality is that you are, right? Like, they're trying to put these products in front of you so that it entices you to go buy them and spend money here and spend money there, right? I mean, it's just the reality. And so I want to be intentional about brainwashing myself. And so if I want to be a top producing agent, if I want to make money, if I want to be a top entrepreneur, like when we're talking mindset, right? Then I am only going to put stuff around me that allow me to succeed. So before we get into the brokerage, what I want to say is something like this. Like right now, for example, like I'm really into taking my physical being into the next level with martial arts. And it's something that I'm really into with my son. So all we're watching is martial arts, fitness. Like I am brainwashing myself, and that's all I'm listening to, right? Sure. We're watching Cobra Kai. We're watching Creed. We're watching, we're going to the gym consistently and being around these individuals that are doing this. When you say you want to close 30 transactions in 1 year, then what is it that you're doing every single day? And what our brokerage provides as far as mindset is you are on, a role play every single morning, Monday through Thursday for 30 minutes. If that's the case, because you treat that like your stand-up, right? Like if you're a solo agent, you treat that as your stand-up. No matter what, I got to make sure I'm on this call with my brokerage. By the way, it's not just that brick and mortar brokerage that you're with, there locally and geographically. You're connecting with agents from all over the United States. So I could be role-playing and script practicing. If I'm in Arizona, I could be, practicing with somebody from California, from Colorado, from Illinois, from Florida, from Nevada, from Arkansas, from all over the country. And so there's a huge value add there because now I've got connections all over the U.S., obviously referrals and all that good stuff. But on top of that, it's just being able to practice with so many more people and getting ideas and insights from all over, right? That's literally every day at PAK. Then Mondays, you have Gratitude Mondays. On Tuesdays, you have Health and Being in the morning, where you can go through a meditation and some breath work and get yourself aligned for the day. Tuesdays, you have your weekly coaching call. Remember at the beginning when we said this is a production coaching-based company. Mm-hmm. So we have a weekly coaching call that most people would be paying, $2,000, $2,500 a month for that type of coaching. These are people who taught us, right, how to do this business, and we're learning from them every Tuesday. Thursdays are our sales meetings. Fridays are our trainings. And so you put all of that together. I haven't even included the community channel, and all the other things that are integrated in this because you're immersed in this community. And so when you just take that into consideration, talk about mindset. This is literally top of mind for me every single day. You have to really unplug to try to avoid that.
Makes sense. Now, obviously, you have brought a lot of good agents into this company, and that's one big piece of us too as well. But my question to you is, what type of agent do you think it thrives well with your company, with PAK?
I think the biggest driving factor as to whether or not this is the place for you or not, when it comes to attracting, especially like the leaders that are coming on board, I would say is that you got to have vision. You have to have vision. And I say that because, obviously our company is, Realty with Soul for people with vision. And if you have an individual that can't see anything past what's in front of them, then what's going to happen is that they're only working from a day-to-day mundane type of structure where that's a very dangerous spot to be at because that's when you get stuck. When you have vision, then you can see yourself maybe potentially getting to a point where I'm doing X amount of deals and I'm only working this many hours, or my lifestyle looks this way, my fitness, my house, my car looks this way, my relationships look a certain way. That's vision. That's seeing past where you're at right now and being able to see something that you're building in the future. And one of the most exciting things about our company is that we just completed our 3rd year birthday, right? Like we just turned 3. And so when you have leaders from other companies that have been around the game for a while, saying, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. Yeah. And I want to build with you guys because I see it. This is different. Yeah. Right. But most people are over here trying to, okay, well, you guys are just like X company, Y company, Z company. And it's like, yeah, no, that's like saying every legacy, old school, traditional split model is the exact same. And the reality is that they're not.
No, they're not. Yeah.
They're all different companies. Just because the compensation structure is the same, or the model to a certain degree is the same, the company's completely different. What we're doing, how we're changing lives, the movement we're creating is its own thing.
Beautiful. Now, can you give us like a story of someone, an agent that came to PAK, and now they're leveling up and they're like really increasing their production, their mindset, and everything. A good success story that you can share with us.
Yeah, I mean, I've got so many.
I bet you do, right?
Yeah,
But if you were to choose one, because we have many to choose from, but
yeah, I'll do this one right now because it's like it's just a good example because it's happening literally right now. So I'll use this example. So one of our agents joined us. I want to say it has been about 2.5 years now, or it'll be about 2 years actually at the end of this year, somewhere around there. Anyways, so her name is Laura Sierra. Absolutely amazing individual. She joined us. She had already been in the industry for, she's been in the industry for about 12 years. Okay. So we're not talking a new agent, this, that, and the other, no. And she's been with different teams, different companies. She's got a very, very great knowledge base. She used to be a transaction coordinator. She's been in the industry for a while. Okay. Lots of great relationships. And yet her average closings on a yearly basis was about 3 to 4 closings. Okay. That was her average. She comes and joins PAK. And this is the craziest part. So we adopt the concept, right? What is PAK about? Let's get you to dirty 30. Like, let's get you to 30 deals as soon as humanly possible. And then we can scale from there. So first full year with PAK.
With the company, yeah.
She closes 19 transactions.
Holy moly, dude, from 3 to 4 to 19. Okay.
To 19.
In 1 year.
And I've actually asked her and we've had conversations around this. It's like, so what happened? She's like, I just follow the structure. I don't deviate from the structure. Like, I show up at this time. From this time to this time is when I'm doing my calls. This time to this time is my follow-ups. I have my appointment blocks. I don't deviate from the structure. Now, mind you, this isn't just about production, right? Like, her fitness, her health, her family life, relationships. She does not miss any of her kids. And all her kids are in sports, by the way. She doesn't miss any games, practices. She still takes them to school every morning, the whole thing. And somebody could be listening to this and be like, that's impossible, right? I'm a mom. There's no way. Like, this is my day. She's showing that it is possible. It's absolutely possible. And she's just very intentional with her time. Now, I bring her up because that was last year, right? 19 transactions. Well, this year she's like, well, I'm getting 30. There's no freaking way I'm not getting 30, right? So, our community is like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like we're all like rallying around her. Yeah, and just be like, you're gonna get to 30, no matter what. You're getting to 30, right? And she literally like, this was last week before we flew out here for the event. We're out where we're talking in the office, and she goes like, Jose, I don't know if I'm gonna get there. Like, I've got this many under contract and so forth. So like right now, I think I want to say she's at 21 transactions. We're in the beginning of November. She's like, so everything I get in November, that's it. I'm like, well, you still got maybe like the first week of December. We can push a transaction in to still close this month. And she's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it. It's like, no. Stop it. All year, we knew we were going to make it. She's got 7 transactions under contract right now.
Holy moly.
Right now. And this all happened. All of them, except for 2, went under contract in the last like 4 or 5 days.
And that's just because she switched it right away to say, no, I'm going to make it happen.
Yes. And I think again, I have so many of these amazing breakthroughs and, agents that did go from, not closing a single transaction to like, like we got Lisette, who's, the most she had ever closed in 1 year was 3 transactions. And she calls me, she's like, Jose, I just did 3 transactions for the last 3 months, every month. She's doing what she used to do in a year on a monthly basis, right? And so, yeah, we got plenty of those stories, but Laura's just very prevalent right now because it's getting down to crunch time and she's going to make it happen. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she will definitely get that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, Another question. Let's say there's an agent out there on the fence about joining PAK. They heard about PAK, or maybe never heard about PAK before, but they're thinking about switching or doing something different. What would you tell that agent about us, about PAK?
I think the first thing would be, they have to look to see if it's even a good fit, right? Because I don't want to say that we're the end all be all. I think they do have to, plug into one of the role plays, plug into one of the sales meetings, and find out for yourself to see what it is. But with that said, as long as they feel comfortable with the environment, just know that when you go all in on yourself with this type of structure and community, there is no limit as to what you can do. You want to be a capper, you want to close 30 transactions, you want to close 100 transactions, you want to close over 200 transactions, you want to build a cash flow business instead of a cash spurts business. You have all of these tools at your disposal. There is nothing that you are lacking in this brokerage compared to anything else that's out there. Like it is, and if anything, it's more of a immersion into a production-based company, and so you're just, I don't even know how to say it. It's like through osmosis, you just like start producing more. Like it just naturally happens. So I think the biggest thing would be like, do you actually want the accountability that it's going to take for you to take your life and your business to the next level? Because if not, you might be better off at your discount brokerage or 100% shop, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Of course.
I think there has to be a certain level of commitment to growth for you to be aligned with this company.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. I think this has been phenomenal. A lot of good conversation out of this and good nuggets. So thank you very much for taking the time of being here with me today. A lot of good nuggets, a lot of good info for a lot of people. So thank you for taking the time, and always thank you for giving me the opportunity, and you have been a very good coach to me, and I really appreciate that. It has helped me grow tremendously. So I want to thank you for that.
Appreciate it. That's awesome.
And for all the agents out there, if you guys have questions about joining PAK or just questions in general about what we have to offer, if this is going to be a good fit or not, please feel free to ask me, to call me. I mean, it's like Jose was mentioning earlier, maybe it's a good fit, maybe it's not, but just curious about it. We'll be more than happy to talk to you and see if it is or is not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, so I mentioned this to you yesterday, it's at the very least, find out what you're saying no to.
True.
And find out what's out there. And if we can be that second option for you, depending on what happens where you're currently at, that's the opportunity we want.
Thank you again. This was Mindset and Wealth. We are on all platforms available for you, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and please subscribe and see you on the next episode. Have a good day.